Good evening once again, everyone. My name is Mr. Smackhead, and tonight we're going to start playing through a game that I have liked since my bloody childhood. It's the Adventures of Alundra. Let's begin, as it were. This is going to be another post-production Let's Play because this is not what I'd call incredibly long, but compared to the videos that I usually do, this thing is going to be bloody long, because this is what's the term? People seem to call it an RPG, which is technically correct, but it's more similar to like Legend of Zelda games than the RPGs that I usually call RPGs, which is like what was it? You know, Breath of Fire, Final Fantasies, and all that sort of stuff. When this very clearly, well, what's going on with the frame stutter here? Yeah, piece of crap program. Anyway. As you can tell, this is obviously going to be similar to Legend of Zelda in gameplay, purely because sort of isometric and sort of isometric? Yeah, it's isometric, and you got a dude with a sword. He's almost exactly like Link, except not really, because he might have some sort of personality. I don't know. Anyway, yes. We start out on a ship. It's not exactly the most amazing thing in the world, but it's a place to start building the atmosphere. And this character, Alundra for some reason is, the game starts painting him out as a bit of a tit. Like, I don't actually know how old he is in this game. There was a manual. Oh yes, and of course, here's the cloth armor. Very clothy. As you can tell, it's very nicely shined, polished cloth. I'm pretty sure there is actually such a thing in the world, and I'm going to look like an idiot. But yes, I'm not entirely sure how old Alundra is meant to be, but there's a lot of incidents where the game basically says, come on, you're just a kid, what are you going to do? And then he RPGs the fuck out of him, as it is. Yes, there's not a lot to explore on the ship to begin with. Mainly because it's just a ship. It's not going to have a lot going on it. But there's people to talk to and story to divulge on, such as here, where Alundra somehow exudes what he's doing by the way of, well, either pheromones or sign language. I really want to say it's sign language. That would actually be pretty cool. But and how would he be able to hear anything? It actually makes sense in a weird way, but I don't remember a lot. I remember the game for the most part, but I don't remember any fine details of it, which is kind of worrying considering I'm the one playing this game, you know what I'm saying. But yeah, I'm going here, gotta, ask around, see what's going on. Apparently Alundra has some pretty bad dreams. It's not very fun. And it's also causing him to, well, throw boxes around. And yes, there's a crack in the wall. That's not going to be important until later, which will make itself very well known in about 10 minutes, maybe? I don't know. But yeah, apparently, sailors don't seem to appreciate him either. And, yeah. Wow, my commentary is fucking hot as shit today. Now, but seriously, you gotta basically talk to the correct people before you can actually continue on with the game, so that's why I've got to run around, talk to everyone. And here we start talking to the first important character because he has a portrait. Ooh. Now it's kind of a depressing thing that Alundra doesn't actually say anything, but it sort of makes it amusing when he ends up talking to people, or when you get given options to do stuff. Yeah, as you can tell, he's plagued by some strange dream. It seems to harass him every night. Well, not harass him, just mess with him. And yeah, it's apparently like one of those little dudes who just sort of hangs around, just sort of does stuff. It's like, could I help you? I want to help. No, but anyway, all that done. Some of the NPCs here change their dialogue, like this dude here who has no shoes. Now that I think about it. He's either not wearing shoes or they're tan. But considering the rest of the people on the ship, yeah, I'm pretty sure he's just not wearing shoes. Unfortunately, this dude here with the silly hat doesn't seem to change his dialogue any. He's going to be saying that to his deathbed. Well, whoops, I think I may have just spoiled it a little. No, apparently my dialogue is a lot of uhs and ahs. Now, I don't know why that door opened on its own. I accidentally tapped it, and it's just like, well, hey, you want to come in, right? It's like those supermarket doors. They just sort of open up when you're really close by. It's just like, oh, well, I feel bad now. But yeah, interesting thing here, because the dude's walking forward, but he can't actually go up the stairs. We've got a weird little interesting thing happening there. And yes, there's hints that something bad's going to happen on the ocean, so may as well just go and sleep it out. As we get introduced to Alundra's amazing cabin, which is actually very bare bones now that I think about it. And something that I realised when I was playing through this probably makes sense now. But anyway, yeah, we go the fuck to sleep, and we get to see the first dream sequence, where we get talked at. Isn't that just amazing? Now, okay, I really need to get a better chair, because the way I've got this set up right now, I'm basically slouching over a microphone. Now, as you can tell, this dude is an interesting dude. His name is Lars. Oh, and just as a forewarning, I wasn't able to speed up the text scroll here. This is how fast he talks. Oh, I hear noise downstairs, that's never a good thing. But yes, he shows us a quick scene of something that's going to be interesting over the course of the game. The actual village that we're going to be visiting. A lovely little idyllic place that has nothing going on at all. Just people doing their usual things. Nothing scary at all. Nothing worrying at all either. Just a bunch of people doing people things. And a crow. Or is that a raven? I can't tell. Yep, we're basically going up through the center of the town, just getting to see everything as it sort of just does what it usually does. Or as people do what they usually do. People talking, children playing, and a man standing outside of his house. Actually, that's curious. Why does everyone have their doors locked? And those two, that's not very interesting. They won't be interesting. Anyway. With that cutscene over, technically speaking, we're going to go back to talking to Lars. Oh boy. Or not talking to Lars, because that implies that we're going to talk back. This guy is basically doing a radio transmission. We get to hear what he's talking about. Someone else gets to interrupt, and then, yeah. Oh yes, he also exposits about the interesting stuff that's going on that we have to deal with, about a lake to the north of the town we're going to. Lars's sprite seems to be having a bit of a... I don't even know the term. Oh, and yes, can you tell who's meant to be the bad guy here? It's the guy who's referring to people as their species, not as people. And I hope you can't hear this tapping, it's kind of a worrying thing. Worrying thing. Now, and yes, it's implied that it's not implied, it's basically shown that Malzas only really gets power because of the people who, well, the people that he says he wishes to destroy. I'm not exactly sure what's going on there, but it's a thing. And yes, he's basically spouting out the most basic trait that could be considered evil talking. It's why Lars is laughing or giggling to himself or snickering. It's just like, come on, dude. You could be trying to. You could try and be a bit more intimidating. What are you, a hologram or some shit? Nah, that would be weird. And yeah, Lars does not seem to appreciate him interrupting his little radio session. Ooh, foul fiend. I've heard worse. But the game kind of gets away with it because it's like it was made in '97. And yeah. This dude's just sort of trying to save face now. And he does so sort of interestingly because he tries to imply that Lars doesn't even know the identity of the person that he's trying to talk to. So does this mean this is just going out to anyone who has the potential to save the town of Ainoa? Who knows? Yeah, he keeps referring to Alundra as a Elisa, which is interesting. And yeah, he knows of the great power, but he doesn't actually know what it is. He just said, yeah, you can do this. Do what? Release! That could mean so many, very many things. Anyway, yep, and he's gone. He gets cut off by Melsass again. Hopefully this comes across properly on the 50 FPS video. And yes, basically Lars is gone again, and now the hologram is threatening us again. As you can tell, he plans to destroy all of mankind. This is the sort of grassroots startups that you really have to nip in the bud before they grow into something tremendous. Now you gotta wonder, how many of those were puns? And yes, unfortunately, we're roused awake by an unfortunate storm. It's almost like this was never going to happen. Doors jammed shut. Good thing that well, yes, of course, I forgot. The game sort of messes with the controls because of the shaking of the ship. But good thing that hole in the wall is there. Otherwise, we would have been really screwed. Don't know why I chose to pick that box up. But yes, we get shown that it's sort of. I want to say it's pissing it down, but it's sort of just raining a bit. The captain's basically telling everyone, no, we're good to go. Not being at the wheel. They've probably lost that much control. All of the dudes, basically. I'm not entirely sure what they're all doing outside on the ship. But hey, I don't know anything about maritime. Yeah. He notices that something bad's about to happen. And if you can look at the bottom of the screen there, you can just sort of see what's going to happen. Mainly just due to the limitations of the game at the time. It makes sense. And yeah, the ship is cut clean in two. People have been knocked out. Someone falls off. Oh, it's terrible, terrifying. It's an unfortunate scene, but that's the last we get to see of the ship. It's a sad sight. Thankfully, Alundra. It doesn't come off too brilliantly, as you can tell, but he's at least found. And we don't know what happens to the rest of the crew, at the very least not right now. I think we find out later on in the game. I actually do know whether or not we find them out later on in the game, but that would be spoilers. And yes, we get saved by one of the dudes who was just standing outside of his shop, or outside of his house. I never remember if they're in shops or not. Anyway, oh, hold on, this is interesting. There we go. All right, and yes, we get to have some more talking for a short while. Hey, I know you guys are gonna enjoy this, but I am not because I can't talk over people very well. And yes, this guy's name is Jess. Does he actually say that? I think he does. But yeah. He's been kind enough to bring Alundra back from the brink of death, which is always a kind thing to do. And yeah, he's just sort of a dude. He does things. Thankfully, Alundra is still able to sign whilst in the middle of sleep. I'm probably just making this out. I'm probably making it out that he is deaf, but I'm not entirely sure. Like, I'm pretty sure he's able to talk, but yeah, it'd be interesting. But yeah, as Jess is expositing, the ship is apparently so amazingly destroyed, so brilliantly destroyed that there was nothing found of it. Like, it's amazing that Alundra survived. That storm was apparently crazy. And yeah, this is basically where we get to stay now. I mean, that doesn't really hold much water, but you know, we have a place that we can come back to save, which is done with the diary. And yeah, how many times can you say made a sort of day? It's like saying I'm going to attack someone in an RPG. You really have to start making the language a bit flowery after a while. And yes, here's our heads-up display. 10 hit points, a pointy dagger, and no money. I want to say, I was originally thinking, why would Alundra come to a new town, a new land with no money? But then I thought, he probably left it in the Clark before it, crashed. Anyway, ignore the title that appeared there, that's spoilers. And I hope that we're just at the end of the first video. The second one's going to be more talking, so I hope that you're interested in seeing people, because we're going to be seeing a lot of them. Thanks for watching.